Tea Party people are just normal people. I guess we're normal. And we're just concerned citizens who've been asleep for a long time, hoping that our politicians were going to do what was right by our nation, to take care of our country and our liberties. And then we woke up and found out that wasn't happening. So just everyday people like you and I have decided to take a stand, and the little bit we can do, if everybody does a little bit, it can turn into a whole lot, and we can come up in front of the giant and do something about it. You know, we've been the land of the free and the home of the brave, but now we feel like hopefully we're the home of the brave, because the land of the free is starting to really be diminished, and our liberties are being taken from us. So the brave need to certainly stand up. Doesn't mean you're not afraid. It means you just do it anyway. So we thank you for the candidates who are running, because I know that takes bravery to do something like that. Okay, let me ask you, maybe you're a Tea Party activist. How do you feel about a $17 trillion debt in our nation? Okay, all right. How do you feel about when the Supreme Court upholds a law, the president decides, well, he's just going to figure out ways around it? Okay, how do you feel about that? I mean, that's happening right now this week, okay? Do you know that the military is being forced to get rid of everything religious? They've taken the Bible off the checklist of necessary items. People are being forced to accept things that are going against their grain culturally and theologically and morally. Okay, how do you feel about that? Well, if you're kind of grumbling and complaining, then guess what? I think you're a Tea Party activist. So, you know, and there might be a few of you here who aren't, but maybe we'll convert you by the end of the night. So what do we believe in as a Tea Party group? We believe that free markets is where prosperity can flourish. We believe when government gets out of the way, then that's when competition and prosperity can go forth. We believe the regulations, you know, are really stifling prosperity. We believe in fiscal responsibility. We believe in religious freedoms. And our foundation is the Constitution. So that's what we believe in as a Tea Party group. Now I'd like to introduce Kathy Botwell, who's going to be conducting the forum tonight.
All right, I'm Kathy Boutwell, and I am going to conduct this like she mentioned. All the candidates right now are sitting in the front, and if you would, the ones that see their name, go ahead and head up to the table and get behind your name, and that way I'll talk as we do that. We're going to have candidates in groups. So the first group I see we're having is the Clerk of the Court and Probate Judge. This is for your information. The Georgia Secretary of State has a website. All you do is Google Georgia Secretary of State, and you'll be able to go on your voter page. It's called MVP My Voter Page, and you'll be able to pull up your very own ballot. There are 27 ballots in Pickens County. We have District Attorney. We don't have Joe Hendricks. He headed up to LJ because we are having a conflict in that the Gilbert County Tea Party is having a meet and greet with their candidates up there. And they have 30 candidates. So they're having all their candidates together, including 5 for sheriff, done, and 5 for tax commissioner. So you can imagine LJ is loaded for bear with all their candidates tonight. So we had some conflict going on there. So instead of Joe, we have his wife, Kaye, here to represent him. Harry's not here, Harry Doss, but his representative is his wife, Lynn. Alison Sosebee is represented by Evelyn Marger, an attorney, a Democrat. I'm not sure how that works for Alison Sosebee with a Republican candidate, but we'll see how that goes. All right, we also have Superior Court Judge Roger Bradley is here, and Robert Sneed. Chief Magistrate Judge, we have Al Wigington, LaSandra Ray Cooley, Dale Quinton is here. Probate Court Judges, we have candidates David Lindsey, Nancy Cochran Maddox, and Clerk of the Court, we have Rena, Fleming, Kirk, Kathy Bruce, and Gail Brown. They're sitting up front here. We have 2 tables in front. The 3 Clerk of the Court candidates are right here. 2 probate judge candidates right here. And then once they're done talking, we'll ask them to get up and they can retake their seats, and then we'll take off the name tags, and voila, the new group will show up, and that will be the chief magistrate candidates, and then the Superior Court judge candidates will take their seat. and their name IDs are behind it. And then lastly, we will have the district attorney candidates. Now, note to the candidate speakers, the incumbent will speak last. I learned my lesson last month on that one. So, Pickens County Tea Party is privileged to host these candidates tonight. It is our privilege to have you here, and we're glad to give you this forum to speak to our concerned citizens and how they're going to vote. So here we go. I'm looking at 13 candidates. You'll have up to 4 minutes to speak. Cleve Boutwell is our timekeeper in front. I don't expect any questions from the audience. Judges are a little bit, can't take as many questions as a normal candidate can. And also, I did find out, I was looking here, that judges, is it just the Superior Court judge? Let me ask you this, Judge Bradley, cannot run as a Democrat, Republican, or Independent?
It is nonpartisan.
Nonpartisan for Superior Court?
For Superior Court, and when I first went on the bench in 2001, we were elected in the primary as we are now. Then the legislature thought that they wanted some additional exposure to jurors, I see jurors all the time, to voters, and so they moved it to the November election. What they didn't account for was in November, there is no machine or mechanism for runoff, and a lot of circuits around the state had a lot of money that they had spent for runoffs. So this year, for the first year since 2000, they moved it back to the primary. So our election is actually completed on July 31st.
All right, he stated that his election, Superior Court judge only, is completed on July 31st, and you will not be designated as a Democrat, Republican, or Independent.
That is correct.
Nonpartisan.
Nonpartisan.
Okay, so that's good to know. We learned something again tonight. All right, I think that's it, and I think we're ready to begin. And we're going to start with the clerk of the court. And remember, the incumbents speak last. So, Kathy Bruce, I know you're nervous, but you just speak from your heart, and you come up here and you start us off, okay?
Good evening. I'm Kathy Bruce. I was born and raised here in Pickens County. My parents is Elaine Thomason and the late Sam Thomason of the Hinton community. My husband and I have 2 children and 5 healthy grandchildren. In 1973, I began working at Pickens General Hospital, which is now Piedmont. I worked there approximately 15 years in administration. Part of that time, I was the office manager. I was responsible for keeping all personnel records, employee benefits, and payroll for the hospital and nursing home. After that, I worked at Century 21, Lindsey and Polly Real Estate office here in Jasper as their office manager. In 1997, I decided to go back to school to become a real estate appraiser, which I am now, and I work at Payne Appraisal Services in Jasper. I currently serve as the chairman of the board of the Family and Children's Service here in Pickens County, which I'm very proud of. I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce. In the past, I've served as a member of the Pickens County Planning Commission, which I think I was on the first Planning Commission, the Pickens County Board of Jury Commissions, and was an appointed member of the Pickens County Board of Elections. If the citizens of Pickens County allow me the opportunity to serve you as their clerk of court, I will utilize the skills and knowledge that I have acquired during my life and career in order to provide a professional and quality service for the citizens and the court systems. I will review all current procedures and determine if they need to be changed or establish new procedures that result in an office that will run in an efficient and professional manner. I will attend all training seminars available, and I will visit visiting clerks in other counties to do the very best service for our county. And the question that you asked us tonight, it says, if elected, what is your plans and aspirations for the office that you're seeking? While in the current building, I plan to organize the office and make sure all documents are correctly filed in each folder and docket book. I plan to begin the process of preparing for the complete automation of the clerk's office. I would like to make it easier for the public to view more records online. We need to start preparing for when electronic filing of cases will be required and stay current in regarding record-keeping technology. I plan to keep the office open one day a week till 6 p.m. for those people who work and can't get off work early that needs to come by the office. I want the office to operate as a business with a goal of providing excellent service to you, the taxpayers of Pickens County. I'm asking for your vote on July 31st, and remember, Kathy Bruce. Thank you.
Hello, I want to welcome everybody here. My name is Rena Fleming Kirk. I'm a lifelong resident here in Pickens County. My parents are Bobby and Marilyn Fleming of Jasper. When I was about 11 years old, my mother opened up a dress shop. So I stepped in and learned to deal with the public at that time, and I have been in the public eye ever since. I am married to Randy Kirk. We have 2 beautiful daughters, Erica and Jody. We have 3 grandchildren, Levi, and Ashton and Emily. Zach is my son-in-law. So I guess I better mention him also. And my other son-in-law is Thomas Jones. I have went back many years debating on this clerk of court. It has been something that I have always had an interest in, but I have never had the opportunity to do it. I started out when I was 17 years old driving a school bus for Pickens County. The superintendent called me one day and said, "I need a driver, get over here." I didn't have a license. All I had ever done was rode around with my dad on a school bus. But he had had a driver to get injured and he didn't have one. So at that point, it's like I just fell right in. I drove the school bus for 21 years. Some of you I may have hauled on the school bus. But after that, during school bus runs, I worked in the school system, dealing with parents and children. I did a lot of the lunchroom, taking care of all the money in there, making sure the children were all fed. After the school business, I went into ETC. I was the first employee hired when they opened the new office here in Jasper. I was their first customer service rep. I was employed with them for 12 years. They had a big layoff. Needless to say, I was the first one hired, the first one to go. But a new door is going to be open. I looked up, got on at the tax commissioner's office last September. And that's been a joy down there. I wanted to further my, I guess you could say, my ambition of wanting to go on to be the clerk of court. And I told my husband, this is the door. This is the one that is going to be open. It's my chance to run now. So I've stepped out and I want to be your clerk of court. I want this to be your office. I want you to be able to come to me at any time. I want to be there to serve you. I want to make that office a more professional office, and I want it to be a relaxing office where you can come in, somebody's going to be there to help you with all of your needs. I don't want you to have to come in and feel like you're just waiting for somebody to have to come to wait on you. We're going to be standing there waiting for you. I'm running short of time here now, so I'll stop on that, and I'll say that when you go to the polls on July the 31st, I want you to remember Rena Fleming Kirk. I want to be your clerk of court. I don't want to be known as the clerk of court. I want to be your clerk of court. Thank you.
Okay, Gail, Incomparable Gail Brown.
Hello, I'm Gail Brown, your clerk of Superior Court. I have 18 years' experience. I began working in the clerk's office in 1993, and in 1999 I was promoted to chief deputy clerk. I I was promoted to Chief Deputy Clerk in 1999. In 2004, you gave me the honor and privilege of being your next Clerk of Superior Court, and again 2008. It's a trust I don't take lightly. I'm the first Republican elected to this office. I'm a member of the Bethesda Baptist Church, the Pickens County Republican Party, and the Pickens County Chamber of Commerce. I'm a lifelong resident of Pickens County. I raised my daughter here. She went to school here, and now she teaches here at Harmony Elementary School. I have a Pickens High School diploma, a diploma in accounting from Pickens Tech, and I'm a certified clerk of court, for which I devoted 72 hours of my training to. You have an investment in my 18 years of experience, and monetary investment in my formal training. That's more than 200 hours of formal training. When I first took office in 2005, I hired and trained 3 new employees. They now have 8 years experience. They're professional and experts in their area of work, and they're cross-trained in many other areas. We have other expert employees that have 9 to 16 years experience. I do not believe that my job is just to supervise and delegate work. I do a full-time job myself. The clerk's office is governed by Georgia law. Every document we file has legal filing requirements. We must know all these filing requirements before we can file or record any document. We're the official custodian of record of all your real estate or property records. We also manage the civil, criminal, and juvenile departments, and we do jury management. We are responsible for mailing summons and making sure we have enough jurors here. For each jury trial, we impanel jurors and assist in striking juries for each case. We create court calendars for each case, for each court day, which is a list of court cases for that day. We mail the notices to the parties and attorneys. And then we prepare for court by pulling all the files and assist the judges in court. We attend each court session. The clerk's office has more duties than I could ever tell you in one day. The office is more complex and more technological than anyone would think. We're required to transmit data and images in almost every department. We're ready to start e-filing as soon as the child support enforcement cases, just as soon as the child support enforcement are ready. They are already being trained to transmit and electronically file these cases. And soon we'll be e-filing UCC financial statements. We have already organized all the records in the old vault and all the records all the way to 2002 that are closed, and they're in boxes neatly stored in a off-site facility the commissioner provided us, and it's all as recommended by the state. And we have organized them, and we are already prepared for the move to the new courthouse. I guess the most important thing on my agenda is to make sure that all the documents in our office are backed up and all your old documents are preserved. And we're getting close. We're down to our 1955 deeds to 1992 that don't have a backup. Okay, and if you elect me, I will continue to work with all county offices to ensure the smooth operation of your county government and judicial system. Mine and my staff, I love Pickens County, and mine and my staff's #1 goal is to serve you, the citizens of Pickens County, and provide you professional, friendly service. And I ask that you consider my qualifications, experience, and proven leadership, and vote for and re-elect me, Gail Brown, your Clerk of Superior Court. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail. Thank you, Gail. Okay, Nancy Maddox, probate judge.
Thank you, Kathy. I despise podiums. I just want to lean on it, and that's not a good thing. My name is Nancy Cochran Maddox. I'm an attorney at law. I've been practicing for 13 years. I've had my own law office for about 6 years. And my beginnings are pretty humble. I started out on Cove Road, about 4 miles east of here. I was born and raised there. My parents, Dan and Linda Cochran, are here with me tonight. My brother David's there as well. They brought me up to be a hardworking person. My dad has always been self-employed, and from that I learned how to have my own business and how to be successful at that. My mom instilled in me the importance of education, and it wasn't a matter of am I going to go to college, but where am I going to go, what am I going to study. I was fortunate enough when I graduated high school here in 1991 to be offered a job at the local newspaper, Pickens County Progress. And every summer through undergrad, I worked at the paper, and I went out and wrote stories and took pictures. And when I was out there, I was meeting a lot of people. I was sharing in their bad times and their good times. And as important as it was to tell their stories to the county and the world at large, I also wanted to make a difference. And so that started in the early 90s. I was still in college, and my parents started a taxpayer group. And that was a Taxpayers for Better Government. And their goal was to inform people of their rights regarding property taxes, that they could appeal their taxes, homestead exemptions, conservation covenants, all of those types of things. And so in that, I helped produce educational materials for those folks. And we had town hall meetings, and it was very interesting to know that when people had the information that they needed, they could help themselves. They could help lower their own taxes. They could help themselves just progress. So from there, I went on to journalism school at University of Georgia. And I graduated in 1995 with honors, and I went straight on into law school. I thought that maybe was a way I could kind of parlay all of my past experiences into helping other people. So I did graduate University of Georgia Law School in 1998, and I started working for a local law office. Well, in 2000, I ended up in LJ, Georgia, and I was managing a law office up there on behalf of my boss. And in 2006, we had grown, and I said to myself, I'd like to be my own boss. So I bought the office, and I ended up, in 2006, a solo practitioner. And since then, I've had that office. In that office, I have worked in the areas of probate and real estate, which dovetails really well with what the probate court does. And for all of you guys keeping score out there, the probate court helps people when someone passes away. You help them administer estates, either if someone had a will or didn't have a will. You also appoint guardians for minors and incapacitated adults. You also do traffic court, you do game and fish violations, issue permits for gun permits and that type of thing as well. But in my experience in my office, I've also had an opportunity to volunteer quite a bit. I volunteer with a local civic organization. I'm on their financial board. I also volunteer with a Christian-based learning center to help people get their GEDs. But I wrap all this up by saying that I'd like to use technology, which I've utilized in my office to make my operations more efficient. I'd like to also bring my work ethic and also my love of this county, my desire to help people, wrap all of that up and become your next probate judge. So I would like to ask for your vote. July 9th, early voting. July 31st is the primary. Nancy Cochran Maddox for Pickens County Probate Judge. Thank you.
That was Nancy Cochran Maddox. Now we have David Lindsey, candidate for probate.
Thank you, Ms. Caldwell. And thank you to the Pickens County Tea Party for hosting this event. It's exciting to see so many concerned and interested people in the elections upcoming this year, and I appreciate everybody being here this evening. My name is David Lindsey, and I'm a candidate for Pickens County Probate Judge. The good Judge Rodney Gibson is retiring after 30 years of service this year, and he has my deepest respect and admiration. I'm sure he has that in the community as well. My wife, Marie, of 13 years, is here with me this evening. She works for Piedmont Healthcare, and she is a wonderful mother to our 2 children, Carter, who is 10, and Sophie, who is 2. I'm a native of Pickens County. I graduated Pickens High in 1989. For as long as I can remember, I always wanted to go to law school, so I went to the University of Georgia, and I worked in the law library for 7 years. I graduated in 1993 with an English degree, and then graduated in 1996 from the University of Georgia School of Law. Also, during my time in Athens, I worked at the Georgia Legal Aid Clinic, where we provided free legal services to indigent clients, and I completed a congressional internship in Washington, D.C. After graduation, I came back home to Pickens County and had the privilege of serving 2 years as a law clerk in the Appalachian Judicial Circuit under Judge Brenda Weaver and Judge Bobby Meidel. Since that time, I have been in the private practice of law for 15 years, specializing in probate matters. I currently serve as the attorney for the city of LJ and have since 1999, and I also serve as the public defender for the municipal court of Jasper. I have been appointed by the Pickens, Gilmer, and Cherokee County probate courts as the attorney to protect the rights of those that are in need of guardianship. Those work experiences and those positions that I've held have allowed me to learn 2 things which I believe are essential qualities for any judge. And those 2 things are a comprehensive knowledge of the law and the ability to understand the needs of the people that come before the court. A judge must follow the law, and a judge must follow the Constitution. But he has to do that with common sense, with respect, and with an understanding of the needs of those people that the court serves. Ms. Maddox did a good job of going over the duties of the probate court. It handles a wide variety of issues. It handles the probate of wills, the administration of estates, it issues marriage and firearms licenses, it appoints guardians, it handles some road obstruction cases, and in Pickens County it also hears some misdemeanor traffic cases. Because of the wide variety of the cases that the probate court hears, and because of the high volume of cases that are filed there, I believe that the office deserves a full-time probate judge. And if elected, I plan to retire my current position. I will not maintain a law office, and I will serve as the probate judge full-time. Like the current court, my door would always be open to the citizens of Pickens County. I would strive to make sure that that court handles things as efficiently and as streamlined as possible. As I've learned from many of my clients, when folks go to court, they want to understand what's happening to them, and they want their case handled efficiently. And I'll work to make sure that the court accomplishes those 2 goals. I'm running short on time. I would encourage each of you to become informed voters. Go out and talk to those folks that you know in the legal community regarding my fitness and my qualifications to serve as probate judge. And thank you for your time. I would humbly ask for your vote in my vote for the primary.
Thank you. Well, I think that's a good group of candidates. You all can get up and sit down. You've done your time, and I know that you're... So we have Dale Quinton, LaSandra Ray Cooley, Alan Wigington, who is incumbent. I debated on that, Alan. I know that you were appointed. You're not really elected, but technically I'm going to call you an incumbent because you have the job. So we'll call you that. And then Roger Bradley is our Superior Court Judge, incumbent, and then Robert Sneed. Before we get going, I want to quote something from the Bible. It's from Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 15. It's for judges. It says, "Do not pervert justice. Do not show partiality to the poor or favoritism to the great, but judge your neighbor fairly." I believe that's a good thing to go by, don't you? All right. We're going to start with the Magistrate Court, so we will start with Dale. I need to get you a microphone, and I'm going to give you this one right here. This is Dale Quinton.
Hello, I'm Dale Quinton. I'm a candidate for Chief Magistrate, Pickens County. A little bit about myself. I've been married 34 years to my high school sweetheart. We got 3 children, 4 grandchildren, and I'm smiling. They always make me smile. In my life, I've bought and sold thousands of automobiles. I've pawned car titles, rented cars, sold homes, properties, and had rental properties. And you do these kind of things, you're going to wind up in the magistrate office, and you're going to wind up filing some cases. I filed many cases in Pickens County and other counties, and the courts is all different, seems like, in the various counties. I've had to file cases such as mechanics that didn't do the job they're supposed to do, bad checks, renters not wanting to pay, properties destroyed. And 95% of the time, when you go to the magistrate's office, you're having a bad day. It's not pleasant. It never was for me. You're filing a case against someone. You're trying to get a warrant. You're trying to make bond. It's just not a pleasant place. So if I'm elected, I would like to try to make it the most friendly, most helpful, most efficient office in the state of Georgia. And I would be there and I always want to give my time. That's all you got to give is your time. And never forget it. I appreciate your vote, your family's vote, in my upcoming election, and thanks for listening.
Thank you, Gail. Okay, LaSandra, would you go up to the podium or stand in front as Nancy did? Whatever you choose. Okay.
Good evening. I'm LaSandra Cooley, and I'm running for Chief Magistrate Judge this year. I've lived in Pickens County for most all my life. My husband, Wayne Cooley, and I have been together for 20 years. We have 4 children. Our previous Chief Magistrate Judge of almost 20 years, Larry Ray, is my daddy. I have an accounting diploma from Pickens Tech and an associate's degree from Reinhardt College. I graduated in April from Reinhardt with honors with a bachelor's degree in organizational management and leadership. I'm enrolled to begin my master's degree in August, also at Reinhardt College. I'm an active member of the Pickens County Chamber of Commerce and also an active member of the Professional Women of Pickens County. I have an extensive business background. I have worked as a cost accountant for Lexington Components here in Jasper, and as an office manager at R&R Towing, and as a subcarrier and a clerk for the United States Postal Service. And then we purchased R&R Towing in 2001. After we bought the business, I became a licensed used car dealer, a licensed used parts dealer, and also a licensed real estate agent. In 2008, I began working full-time in the magistrate court as a magistrate court accountant. And in September of 2009, I was appointed as judge so I could assist with the issuance of arrest warrants, first appearances, and other judicial functions. If you're not familiar with magistrate court, it's where you come if you need to file a civil claim for up to $15,000, or where you come if you need to seek an arrest warrant for someone, or if you need help collecting on a bad check you've received. Being a previous business owner, I know how receiving a big bad check can be very frustrating. And I also understand that it could have been an honest oversight. I personally do my best in magistrate court to help collect the merchants their money, while also extending compassion to those that may have made a mistake in their bookkeeping. With advanced technology, our court has really changed, making filing in our court much more convenient than in the past. We now accept online filings, take credit cards, and issue our warrants electronically. I realize that these changes are due to a team effort and not just to the efforts of one person. We all work together well in magistrate court. Why am I running for Chief Magistrate? I'm a very big people's advocate. I believe that just because someone has made a bad decision does not necessarily make them a bad person. I want to ensure that everyone is treated equally and with dignity and respect in our court, regardless of the situation. It should not matter who you are, who your parents are, or even who your attorney is. Everyone should be treated equally. I feel it is our responsibility to help keep our county's costs down by keeping a watch on the jail population. If someone is in jail for a minor offense and poses no threat to the community or to a victim, I feel it is our duty to help them get out of jail and back to their jobs. If someone sits in jail long enough to lose their job, they may very well turn to more crime just to try to provide for their family. And in today's economy, that's not a very good thing to be out looking for a job. Magistrate court is truly the people's court, and everyone having dealings there should be afforded the right to understand what's going on with their particular situation every step of the way, whether they have an attorney or not. My daddy always told me not to judge people too harshly because I too could be one bad decision away from standing in their shoes, and I really believe that statement. Remember, I'm not in it for the robe, I'm not in it for the bench, I'm 100% in it for you, the people. Again, that's LaSandra Ray Cooley. I'd appreciate your vote and support this year in the election. Thank you.
You're up next.
Thank you. I'm going to say it's good to be home. It's good to be back with the Tea Party. It's always interesting to see what is going on in our nation. And as you said, all politics is local. My name is Wigington, and I'm your Chief Magistrate. In 2008, I was appointed by Larry Ray as a full-time judge in the Magistrate Court. After taking office and serving in that capacity for approximately 2 years, Judge Ray retired. When he retired, the Superior Court judges appointed me to fill the remainder of the term. After that appointment, I have served and attempted to increase our efficiency, reduce our footprint on the taxpayers, and hold people accountable for their actions. Just a little bit about myself. Born and raised, grew up here in Pickens County, always been a local boy. Went to college, graduated. I have a degree in Justice Administration, a degree in Criminal Justice, and a degree in Social Work as well. Currently, my wife of almost 12 years is teaching at the high school, and our 2 wonderful children, Jack and Kate, both of which are available on eBay. Appreciate them, no returns. And I attend Jackson United Methodist Church, where I serve on the administrative council. Your magistrate court is changing. It is changing dramatically. In the last 4 years, we have seen the largest increase in the amount of jurisdictional things that we hear, and the largest increase in the monetary value of things that we see in many, many years. When I went to magistrate court, we were operating off of typewriters. Today, we can issue arrest warrants from my iPhone. We do video conferencing off warrants. Cuts down tremendously on the administrative time the sheriff's office is required to spend in actually processing those warrants. And when that stuff is issued, warrants are issued, and they're automatically transmitted back to the jail. We took on, you're going to hear tonight about Superior Court backlog. When I went to Magistrate Court, one of the first things that we did was we started looking at ways that we, along with the County Commission, could lessen the burden on Superior Court. Through a collaborative effort with Superior Court judges, with our District Attorney's Office, we've taken on the additional criminal caseload and now handle our designated misdemeanors as well as the county ordinance violations. That resulted in 2011 in more than 400 cases not being filed in the Superior Court, but being filed in the Magistrate Court. And what that means is that we adjudicated those cases, and those cases are over with. Fines have been paid, or the person is on probation, and that case is no longer pending on a docket. Judge Brenda Weaver and I had a long conversation when I first took the bench concerning mental health, and the fact that we see offenders over and over and over again for the same things. To that end, I sat down and said, we've got to do something. And Magistrate Court is a team effort, and it's a team effort not only with the staff in Magistrate Court, but with every class of court. And between Judge Gibson, myself, the Superior Court judges, the District Attorney, we organized the first mental health Magistrate Court in Georgia. Mental health court provides supervision and treatment and holds mental health participants accountable for their actions. These people will be on the street with little to no supervision if it weren't for what we were doing. What we've seen is that those people don't come back to the court system near as quickly. We've also implemented online civil filings. We're the first court in our circuit to issue full civil case online filing, which means you don't have to come to the courthouse to file your civil actions. I ask that as we go forward, I ask for your vote. I ask humbly for your vote on July the 9th, but I also covet your prayers for me and my family as we go through this election season and as we go through the November elections, that we try to take back our country. I appreciate it.
Next, we have Superior Court judges, and we'll start with Robert Sneed and then end with Roger Bradford. Roger Bradford. First, Robert Sneed.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Robert Sneed. I'm a candidate for Superior Court Judge. I've been an attorney practicing for 25 years, and for 20 of those years, I have sat on the bench as a municipal court judge. Currently, I sit for 17 separate jurisdictions, including in this district are LJ, East LJ, and Blue Ridge. I'm running for this position because it's time for a change, and because of the many complaints that I've heard from people regarding my opposition. And it's time for somebody to stand up and make the people aware about the problems that plague this judge's court docket. Currently, his system is broken. Tax dollars are being squandered by inefficient operation, and there is an extreme civil and criminal backlog of cases that are many, many years old. Orders are not being timely filed or enforced, and it's taken up to 4 to 6 years on average to run these cases through the system. Discretionary appeals are not being granted also, which is also a denial of fundamental rights. Child custody cases in some instances are taking up to 2 years for temporary hearings. My concern in these instances are who are looking out for the best interests of the children in these type of situations. If it takes such an excessive time to get a child custody hearing, that puts children in environments which pose a threat to their safety and could ultimately cause permanent psychological damage to the children. I believe in family cohesion. I believe that just because the parents are divorced, that the parents, even in the divorce process, should be active in the child's life and be involved in their upbringing as well. And I believe that non-custodial parents have rights to those children too, in the event that they do not have custody. In a recent forum, my opposition was asked what could be done to reduce the backlog of criminal cases. His response to that question was, tell your friends and neighbors to stop committing crime. Well, unfortunately, people are going to continue to commit crime. They always have committed crime, and that will never change. If the docket cannot be handled by somebody, then it's time to change and get somebody who can make that change. When asked about his civil cases, he said the truth of the matter is that our backlog for civil cases is non-existent. Now, I recently reviewed the calendars, the active calendars for Gilmer and Pickens County. Let's go over some facts. The Gilmer County calendar showed 101 total active cases. 38 cases on the calendar are over 3 years old or older. 1 case is from 02, 2 are from 03, 4 are from 04, 5 are from 06, 4 are from 07, 14 are from 08, which is almost 40% of the calendar that's 3 years old or older. 15 of the 38 cases involve domestic issues. 10 cases involve children, and those cases range from 06 to 09. Cases are all showing active with no disposition. With reference to the Pickens County calendar, we had 371 total cases, of which 111 are from 2009 or older. That's roughly 1/3 of the calendar that is at least 3 years old or older. 1 case is from 1999. That's last century. 1 from 01, 3 from 02, 7 from 04, 22 from 05, 6 from 06, 12 from 07, 19 from 08, and 40 from 09. 36 of the 111 cases involve domestic issues, and 23 of those involve children, ranging from 1999 to 2009. These are active cases with no disposition, and the Fannin County cases have a similar posture. Do not believe what I'm telling you. Go to the courthouse, pull the dockets, look at the dockets, and see for yourself. It's appalling what I see. The statement that there's no backlog for civil cases is simply untrue. Please remember, in civil cases especially, that the judge controls the calendar. This is not justice, and this is not the efficiency that the taxpayers of the children deserve. The children need someone looking out for their best interests. Domestic cases need quick and efficient access to the court so that children can be put on a path of stabilization and minimize the psychological effect that they have.
Okay, thank you. Robert Sneed. Okay, Roger Bradley, incumbent, Superior Court Judge.
Ladies and gentlemen, since I took the bench on January the 1st of 2001, there have been a lot of new folks move into Pickens County, and so as a consequence, I'd like to give you some bullet points as to my position, my opponent's position. First and foremost, my family and I moved from Woodstock to LJ in 1974 and immediately became integrated in the community. My children went to school in Gilmer County. When they were old enough to work, they worked in Gilmer County. My wife worked in Gilmer County, and I immediately set up a law practice in this circuit. My opponent, on the other hand, was recruited by a special interest group to move into the circuit, especially for the purpose of running for Superior Court Judge. I would also point out that since 1974, since moving into this community, I have voted in this community, and it is my privilege to serve as your Superior Court Judge for 12 years. On the other hand, my opponent did not register to vote in our circuit until May the 22nd, 2012, just as a basis to qualify and run for judge on May the 24th, 2 days later. Check his driver's license if you wish, and you'll find that it either says Cobb County or it says that it was reissued just 2012, last month. I would also point out that, contrary to what you just heard, the civil dockets are very current. The criminal docket caseload has been reduced by hundreds of cases in the last year and a half with the easy, smooth working relationship that Judge Weaver, Judge Mercier, and I have. I've had the privilege of speaking to children and civic groups about good citizenship and the need to take an active part in the community. My opponent has never had a criminal or a domestic case in either my courtroom, Judge Weaver's, or Judge Mercier's, and therefore everything he has heard has been hearsay given to him by that special interest group. He accepts that hook, line, and sinker, even though it is false, generalized hearsay, and they're accusations made by the special interest group about your judicial system, your judges, and he expects you, the voters, to also take that hook, line, and sinker. As your Superior Court Judge, I have conducted jury trials for murder, kidnapping, rape, child molestation, and the entire gamut of civil and criminal cases. For 26 years prior to being on the bench for 12, I was constantly in court every time court opened, whether civil or criminal, actively trying cases. Therefore, I have handled all kinds of cases in those courts. I would ask for your vote on July 31st because of the experience that I have had. I would also point out that just this evening, I met and was handed by a member of the Board of Directors of Talking Rock Creeks Recreation Association a file folder of $30,000 plus of unpaid property owners' liens, the homeowners association liens, unpaid by my opponent, his wife, and his family. It is my belief that we should be conservative Christians, we should keep our affairs in order, and I will assure you, I have property in a gated community also. Mine, however, are current. I would also point out that they ask us to address our aspirations. And my aspirations can be divided into two separate categories. Number one is I would anticipate the first aspiration I would have of being a dedicated, conscientious, conservative Christian, just like I have been all of my life. The second one is that I would continue to work with Judge Weaver and Judge Mercier to continue to decrease the criminal backlog and to work as we have to keep the civil docket current as it really is. When my interpreter approached him as to why he was running and assured him that I did a good job, that everybody appreciated the job I did, and asked him, "Why are you running?" his response was, "It wasn't my idea." Ladies and gentlemen, I believe it should be your idea if you're going to seek a job as important as this. And I ask for your vote on July 31st.
Thank you, Judge Bradley. And all of you may rise and head out. And we're going to have the district attorney representatives. Joe Hendricks, like I mentioned, we had a conflict with Gilmer County Tea Party, so he headed north and left his wife here to speak on his behalf, so that will be Kaye Hendricks. So there's Joe Hendricks, his wife, Kaye. And then instead of Harry Doss, we have Representative Lynn Doss, right, his wife. And then on behalf of Alison Sosebee, we have Edwin Marger. So what we'll do is, since Joe is incumbent, you'll be last to speak, so we'll start out with, I guess, Harry Doss's wife, Lynn.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight on behalf of my husband, Harry, who is a candidate for the District Attorney for the Appalachian Judicial Circuit, which is spanning Gilmer and Pickens County. As Ms. Boutwell introduced me, I'm Lynn, and I'm honored to be Harry's stand-in tonight. Very difficult to be two places in one time, and when you're running in a three-county circuit, I'm really surprised it hasn't already happened. We have a conflict. I'm proud to be Harry's wife, the mother of his children, and his law partner. It takes a special person to be able to live together 24/7, which is what you do when you also work together. Harry's practiced law in Blue Ridge for 39 years. He's been a physical conservative his entire life and very active in the Fannin County Republican Party for the past 34 years. He had the privilege to serve with the United States Army for 31 years. I tell folks that I'm truly his second love, and his first love was the U.S. Army. He had the opportunity to serve in some really garden spots. He made 8 trips to Somalia before Black Hawk Down. He served in Egypt, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait. And those were wonderful opportunities that we wouldn't take anything for. He retired as a full bird and was awarded the Legion of Merit shortly before his retirement. He remains very active, and our firm is very proud to be very active in doing pro bono work and other work as needed for veterans, former veterans and current servicemen. We do soldiers and sailors work all over the United States for military personnel and their families who are currently serving on active duty. Harry has 2 law degrees. He graduated from Mercer University and then from Mercer University's Walter F. George School of Law. And after his first tour of active duty stationed in Germany, he came back to the Walter F. George School of Law, where he received his legal laws master in government contract. While he was with the Army, Harry had the opportunity after the first Persian Gulf War deployment to serve and to represent the United States Army before the U.S. Court of Contracting Appeals, and in doing so, saved the taxpayers of the United States literally hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. Harry is seeking the office of District Attorney simply because the current system is broken. According to the Administrative Office of the Courts of Georgia, which you can easily find online, there has been in excess of 10,000 criminal cases docketed in our combined counties of Fannin, Gilmer, and Pickens in the last 7.5 years. Yet in 7.5 years, the current district attorney has managed to try less than 5 of these cases. His staff, which consists of 9 attorneys, which together with him would make 10, in 7.5 years, have managed to try less than 100 criminal cases. The method of operation of the current district attorney is simply to over-indict, to throw as much as you can against the wall, and then to get somebody to plead to a lesser included offense, or in some cases just a lesser offense, which happened about a year ago in Fannin County, when a prominent businessman who had been indicted for 3 felonies, 4 misdemeanors, spent over $25,000 of his hard-earned money, was offered a plea deal to being in a fight and paid a fine of $1,000. Harry is seeking the office of district attorney because he can make a difference. In this country in which we live, you're innocent until proven guilty. Harry's a physical conservative. He understands it's your tax dollars and our friends and family's lives. He would appreciate your vote on July 31st in the Republican primary. Thank you.
Representative Harry Doss. All right, Edwin Marger on behalf of Alison Sosebee.
Should start this off by saying, unaccustomed as I am to public speaking, but as all of you know, being told that I was a Democrat, Democrats don't know how to speak, especially some that are in office today. Since I've lived there for 24 years, I've had to vote Republican, because otherwise I wouldn't have a vote. And I can tell you, in the last election, I didn't vote for the Republican candidate, and I certainly didn't vote for the Democratic candidate. Unfortunately, my then associate was running for president on the independent ticket, and I had to vote for him. So I'm innocent. But the question is not who I am, because most of you know me. I've practiced law here for a long time. And during my practice, I've had the ability to deal with the incumbent district attorney, who I voted for 2 times. Not only did I vote for him, but I gave him money. I had the pleasure of meeting his lovely wife and their child, who I had at my house for dinner. Unfortunately, after 2 years of knowing this gentleman, I've realized that the office that he had gone to his head. He was no longer that nice young man who had come into this county to have a job. I believe that, frankly, he's arrogant, he's not interested in the population, and I can tell you that as far as his trying cases, in my 59 years of practicing law, I have never seen a district attorney with less ability. Now, I am really pleased to be sitting between these 2 lovely ladies. It is a pleasure, and nothing that I say should in any way disparage his lovely wife or their child, because I think they're great. But the one thing that really got me in regard to this campaign is when the present district attorney, in criticizing my client, a person who I have experienced a lot of law with, Alison Sosebee, complained that she was a single-parent lady who therefore would only do a part-time job in the office. Now, those of you who have children have to know that that is a full-time job, but that you as women are just as capable of doing a great second job as you are with your first. I can never speak as well as Alison Sosebee would if she was speaking to you. You know, I was told by my wife that I should stand on a chair so I'm at least as tall as she is. Well, the truth of the matter is that I may not be as tall as she is, because she's head and shoulders taller than me. But she is also head and shoulders better for the job of district attorney than the incumbent. I ask you, those of you who know me and my reputation in the practice of law, to consider Alison Sosebee, who should be, and hopefully will be, your next district attorney. Thank you.
Next we have Joe Hendricks' wife, Kaye Hendricks.
Good evening. My name is Kaye Hendricks, and my husband Joe Hendricks is your district attorney. As you've heard, Joe is in Gilmer County at another party meeting this evening, and I was asked to speak on his behalf. Joe and I are married 19 years today, and he doesn't realize it, but me speaking on his behalf is his anniversary gift. Joe and I have one son, John, who will turn 11 on July 4th. Believe it or not, John will get to be in 3 parades as part of his birthday gift. We are all members of Mount Hope Community Church, where Joe is a deacon and I teach Sunday school. I'm also a teacher at Jasper Elementary here in Jasper. In 2004, Joe was elected by you to be your district attorney. He promised to take on the methamphetamine problem and to protect our community from those who make methamphetamine. Joe did that. He has taken a very aggressive stand on methamphetamine, and as a result, our community is safer. Joe is passionate about protecting children and takes a tough stand on those who abuse children, especially those who sexually abuse children. You have seen Joe and his office remove sexual predators from our community and make our children safer. Joe also believes in protecting our families from drunk drivers. That's why his office will not reduce a DUI unless there is a legal reason to do so. As part of this stand that he has taken against drunk driving, Mothers Against Drunk Driving awarded Joe a special award for aggressive DUI prosecution. We are very proud of that honor. Joe has also worked to improve the efficiency of the DA's office through implementation of new technology. As a result of this technology that he has helped to put into place, Roger Queen, his former boss, and your former DA, is able to assist Joe's office, even though he is bound to a wheelchair. Joe and I love this community, and Joe believes in fighting for this community and will continue to do so. That is why I am asking for you to vote for my husband on July 31st in the Republican primary. I believe in him, and I believe he is the best choice for district attorney. Thank you.
Very good. A lot of good candidates, I think, and they spoke from their hearts. So you can have your seats back there. And we will have Donnie Craig come up and talk to us. He is unopposed, which I think is a good thing. Right? Personally, I think it's a great thing. But I never wanted to say a few words, as he will be on our ballot. And Donnie, you're welcome to speak for as long as you like. As long as it's 4 minutes.
As long as I like, right? How long y'all going to be here tonight? I'm just kidding. Jeff, guard the door back there. Don't let anybody out. I'm just kidding. Seriously, guys, I appreciate everybody being here tonight. As I sit back and I listen to all the candidates come up and speak, golly, I mean, to be honest, it's tough. It is so hard to stand before a group like this and pour your heart out. And, Kaye and Ms. Dawes here speaking on behalf of your husband. I wish I could have got Tina to come speak with me several times. One thing Dale said over here when he was talking about the magistrate court, about how people are having a bad day when they come and see you. Well, I can tell you in the last 4 years as sheriff, and I've said this many times, people only call on us when they're having a bad day. They're fighting with their husbands or their wives, or their house is broken into. I mean, there's just so much hurt that we see in law enforcement and, of course, the magistrate court. And I've always said that nobody ever calls on the sheriff when they're having a bad day. Up until recently, I had a lady over in Hinton. She actually sent me a little note and said that she just wanted me to know that she was having a great day and she appreciated what we were doing. So it does happen, I promise. But again, I mean, I just want to take a minute to say thank you. Thank you for the opportunity that I've been given to serve this community. I am truly humbled by the amount of support that we've received over the last 3.5, almost 4 years now. And I really cannot imagine doing anything else with my life other than serving this community as sheriff, which I've had the honor to do since about 20 years ago. I've been here in the community in the sheriff's office involved, and guys, this is a great place to be. But I mean, when I took office, and I'll bring my remarks to a close here in a second, but when I took office, the two things that really stuck out that people kept telling me I had to do was, one, I had to surround myself with good people. And guys, I think we've got some of the best law enforcement and men and women in the sheriff's office. I'm truly proud to have with us. We've got some of those best guys here in Pickens County that are here not because of what they're paid, but because they want to serve this community. And I thank them tonight. A lot of them are here tonight, but I thank y'all for what you do for us. But the second thing was that I had to build a good relationship with the community. And I think that is just as important as the first one. And I remind the other candidates that is here is, guys, we work with the community. The job that we're doing as we stand before y'all tonight is got to be about the community. Everything we have done and that we will continue doing in law enforcement and through the sheriff's office is to serve this community and what y'all's needs are, our needs as taxpayers. And that we've got to spend that money wisely, but we've got to look out for the taxpayers. And it can't be about another political agenda. Be careful what you promise during your campaign, because I promise people are going to hold you to that. But again, thank you so much. I ask for your continued support and your prayers, not only for myself, but for the other candidates and their families here tonight. Because again, it is truly a tough thing to stand up and to run and put you and your family out there for the community. And I thank each and every one of you that are here tonight for that. So thank you.
I would think you would agree that this is a great county that we live in. We've got a lot of good candidates. Can't lose anything think at the ballot box. We have a good elections office. Julie is very on top of this. You're going to have an individual ballot. Don't forget to go to Georgia's Secretary of State, My Voter page, and you'll put in your name and your date of birth, and it will pull up your specific ballot